Hey, welcome back to the Rock Fantasy Files as I set the time machine back 20 years to 2005. And I've asked tonight's panel to pick four records from that year, but the panel's kind of light tonight, whether it's due to the heat wave. I know Obi, our resident Viking from Norway, is at a metal fest or crazy rock
Crazy.
fest over there that has everything from Green Day to Belphegor playing and in between. And he's away tonight. Couldn't make it tonight either, Count Ralphus. And we're missing some other folks too, but we're gonna go ahead and do it anyhow. And I asked him to pick four records, but of course, with only a few of us, we could probably stretch that out, pick a few extra and some
Yeah.
honorable mentions, of course, if you want. So we'll just kind of have anarchy tonight. So here's some facts from 2005. Since we're filming on YouTube, April 23rd, April 23rd was the first ever YouTube video was uploaded.
Well,
Wow.
Titled Me at the Zoo. Now, maybe if we Google that, we can still find it. Some dude walking around a zoo. I don't know. It's the first ever YouTube, uh, uh, not channel, but video. May 21st, for those local around here, they'll know about this. King Dakar is open for the first time to the public at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, becoming the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster at the time. And I have rode that coaster. Unfortunately, it was demolished last winter. They tore it down. They imploded it. So it's no
wow.
longer there. But at one time, New Jersey had the biggest roller coaster, and that was a crazy roller coaster, a blast coaster, and you could see that thing for miles. It was so high. I would go to a stock car races down at New Egypt Speedway, which is a few miles away, and you could see the top of that from the grandstands, which is a ways off. The 2005 edition of Ozfest traveled through North America, featuring the original lineup of Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, who was with the tour, almost a co-headliner. We've talked about this very recently on the channel quite a bit, but Richard Johnson and is talking about these shows a lot. Iron Maiden was with them from July 15th to August 20th. Other bands on the main stage were Mudvayne, Shadows Fall, Black Label Society, and Flames. And then Velvet Revolver replaced Iron Maiden from August 23rd to September 4th. Slipknot, July 31st and August 20th only. The second stage was Rob Zombie, Killswitch Engage, As I Lay Dying, Mastodon, A Dozen Furies, The Haunted, Arch Enemy, The Black Dahlia Murder, Bury Your Dead, Dies Today, Soilwork, Gizmachi, who's we're from right around here. They from Newburgh, and
That's
Sean
right.
Gizmachi is actually the tour manager of Mudvayne currently, and did work
Really?
Slipknot quite a bit. Yeah,
Oh
touched
shit.
base with them very briefly around about a year ago, and we were talking about some stuff, and I was like, oh, because he was coming to Bethel Woods, but I never got to visit with him. He's come to my store, record shopping and buying stuff all the time. Wicked Wisdom and Trivium rounded out that bill. I remember going to see that Ozfest, and we got a super hot day. It's fucking brutal hot here in Middletown, New York today, and we haven't had much hot weather, but it was over 100 degrees here today. And just I remember going to this in Camden, New Jersey, and it was the same kind of weather. I was much younger then and probably could handle it better, but that was crazy. So
In
also held
North
Saturday
Virginia.
June was the
Yeah.
Download Festival, and it was dubbed Ozfest Day, which was Black Sabbath, Velvet Revolver, Him, Anthrax, Alter Bridge, Bowling for Soup, which is a weird one, Mad Capsule Markets, the Dwarves, and Trivium. That was a weird lineup.
Yeah.
As we go into more 2005, the New England Patriots won the Super Bowl over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh boo.
And in baseball, the 2005 World Series, Chicago White Sox swept the Houston Astros 4 games to win the World Series for the first time since 1917. So they were waiting a while. NBA Finals, San Antonio won their third NBA title in the past 7 years, defeating the Pistons first in the first 7-game NBA Finals in 11 years. February 16th, there was no NHL champion because it was canceled by league commissioner Barry Bettman. North American. It was the first time the North American Professional Sports League had to cancel a season due to labor dispute. Daytona 500 was won by Jeff Gordon. The 89th Indy 500 was Dan Weldon. And I'm giving you the news. And now I've got trivia questions for you, I think. Who can guess the top film from 2005? Even though there's only three of us that can guess. It was a good one, actually.
I don't keep up with years on movies, so
I have a poster of it hanging up in one of my sheds.
Was it The Village?
Sin City.
Okay.
And that's and then Batman Begins was the second. Cinderella Man, 40-Year-Old Virgin, and Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Can anyone guess what the top TV show of 2004
was?
Oh, no idea.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
It was actually a show that I watched because it was pinball related, because I'm a pinball nerd. And they made it is Jack Bauer 24. 24, which was like a real thriller where Jack Bauer was kind of like a James Bond, and he would go and save the world, and it would leave you hanging, sort of like the squares we got tonight. It would put a square up in the first corner, it would show something that's going down, and then it would put up another square, and you would want to just watch. It's like if you're binge watching it, you got to hit the next one. I remember doing that. So Prison Break was number 2. The Shield was on number 3. Anyhow, so we're here to talk about metal, and there's 4 of us tonight. Tony Dio is here. We got James, and we got Ed, and we got me. So I don't think it's going to take too long tonight. But if you got 4, you can do 4. If you got 5, I don't care what. If you want to make a top 5, you want to make a top 7, I don't care. I think I'll do a top 10 because there's not many of us here, and I'll breeze through mine pretty quick. I even got some hard copies here, and I got a few that I'm missing that I thought I had, and there's some stuff I don't think that's ever been in print that I was listening to that either.
I'll breeze through what I've got.
All right, Tony, you can go first.
Me go ahead and go. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So we're going to do them all at once here. Is that what you want to do?
You can do it all at once, I guess, and then we can go back for some honorable mentions if anybody has any.
Okay, well that's cool. I'll do my top 5 and I'll keep the others for honorable mentions then. Okay, so starting off, I'm going to go with As the Weird Travels On by Deceased.
Okay.
Good record by these guys. And I mean they always deliver great songs. I love how they kind of morph from being a traditional like thrashy type band to more into a traditional metal as they went through the years. King's vocal sounds a lot like Kronos from Venom, and yeah, some good stuff on this one, man. The Funeral Parlors, Secret, and Witness to Suspiria. I mean, it's some good stuff. I love the last track, the very epic Fright. But yeah, that was a good record. Had a good album cover. You can't really see it here, but they always have some cool album covers. So that's As the Weird Travels On from Deceased. From there, I'm gonna go to a sort of kind of into Deceased family here. So King had a band called October 31, and his guitar player Brian Williams, known as Hellstorm, he's done some side projects and stuff, and he had a singer that sang. He had a band called Chaotic and one called Final Sign. He had a singer named Sean Pallotta. Sean actually was in October 31 for a little bit as well, but they released in 2005. Sean and some guys put a band together called Line of Fire, and it's total AOR melodic rock. And I just was hooked on it that year. It's very much Sean sounds a lot like Tony Harnell from TNT. He has that style of voice. So there's influences from TNT and it's a little you hear a little Journey and stuff like that in it, but it's also got a modern edge to what was happening in 2005. I mean, there's songs on here that could have been played on regular rock radio at the time and fit right in. But yeah, it was just a really good record. Like I said, just good melodic, hard rock at times, or just AOR. And this was put out by Tribunal Records, which was pretty much a hardcore, heavy metal label, and luckily, Matt, the owner, loves AOR, so and he decided to release it, and they actually did a reissue of it a few years ago with some extra tracks on it. So really good record. Line of Fire, just a self-titled. They did 2 albums. This is the debut. Good stuff. And from there, I'm going to go with Arch Enemy, Doomsday Machine.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I kind of
Man, I was big into Arch Enemy back in those days. When like Stigmata came out and Burning Bridges, I love that stuff. Late '90s, and they moved on in. Of course, they did Wages of Sin when Angela became their singer, and they kept that sound from those earlier records, and they did on this one as well. I mean, you got that Andy Sneap production. Yeah, just really good record. I was playing this a whole lot. Got to be friends with these guys. Used to go see them all the time when they were. I mean, I'd go see them one night in North Carolina, and they'd be in Virginia the next night, and I'd go and just hung out with them, and just always cool people to hang out with and laugh and stuff. Sit on the bus and watch movies with them and stuff, and
Hmm.
just cool people. But yeah, I played the crap out of this one that year. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Enter the Machine, Taking Back My Soul, Nemesis. I mean, My Apocalypse. There is it's just brutal death metal, but it's got these happy little guitar solos that just come out of from the Amat brothers. That they're just and Michael plays so much like Michael Schenker. It's like it's almost like Michael Schenker playing in a death metal band, And so I remember, just when I heard that, they were looking for guitar players for UFO, ended up getting Vinnie Moore. I was like, man, they should have got Michael Amott because he would have fit right in, and I'm sure he would have played with UFO if he had had time. But yeah, good record. So Doomsday Machine,
I
and
I probably overlooked that because I'm listening to them a lot in that time period. I thought that Angela was just like out of this world, like badass.
yeah, she
Oh, yeah.
was.
Did
She was a
you so
badass.
when you were friends with them, were you friends with her also?
We speak every once in a while. Mostly, I was hanging out
Mm.
with Michael and Charlie mostly, and just kind of hanging out. But I remember Angela was always trying to save her voice when she was on tour. She wouldn't talk much. She would hang out in the back of the bus, and
Mm.
because I don't know, I really don't know the story if she started having vocal problems, and that's why she stepped down and went
Yeah,
into
no
man.
one really knows
She
that.
stepped down but she became manager. So I
Yeah,
think she handpicked, Alyssa to come in,
yeah,
and yeah, I don't know. I think maybe she was starting to have some issues back then. Who knows? I don't know. But of course, when you
yeah,
do it
that
night
is.
after night, it doesn't matter if you're singing guttural vocals or you're
Mm.
singing like Halford. It's you can still you gotta have time to rest.
She's been
And
going for many years now.
for a while now, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
she was always cool. She always said, hey, she just real cool. Everybody was real cool. So. I'm gonna pick for let's see, what did he consider? That was three. Like I said, I think I'll do four. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Angel of Retribution from Priest.
Okay.
Thought this was a really, really good comeback record for them. Just it's Judas Priest. It's what you expected. They had a little bit of a modern edge to them at the time. I mean, the guitar tone that they had kind of brought in the Ripper era was still there. Um, but it is a good record. I think Roy Z produced this record, if I'm not mistaken, who had played in Halford. Yeah, he did. So, yeah, it's a good record. So I think he went in and kind of did what he did with Dickinson and says, you want to sound like this, kind of like what he did with Halford and helped Halford get that sound back. Yeah, it was a good record, man. Judas is Rising is a good song. I mean,
Yeah.
Revolution was cool. Wheels of Fire is great. The Angel, the ballad was really good. Hell Rider. Yeah, this was I think the first pressing that came out. It had a bonus DVD in it. I remember getting a copy when I was still getting promos and stuff. That I had one copy once. Do you guys remember Dual Disc, where there would be a DVD? on one
Yeah,
side and CD, and you could play it in your DVD
yeah,
players if you
I'd
had
sell
surround
some.
sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
They didn't stick around very long.
No,
You know, that was another thing that was around 20 years ago that was
cool
they were
disc.
trying to
Yeah,
push.
wow.
Yeah.
Now
And
I was thinking of one, because a lot they'll put a CD with a DVD, but I now, man, that yeah, you're jogging my brain with that one.
yeah, it was one disc and it was a DVD on one side, CD on the other, but it was just audio. So you would play it in your DVD player. If you
Yeah.
had surround sound, you could get a 5 point, mix,
Yeah, I wonder how long that those actually survive.
I
Actually,
still, I said, do you see them come in used in the store, James?
I've got a copy in the store of the first Velvet Revolver album
well,
Yeah.
on dual disc, and it's sat there for fucking 10 years.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
I've got one or
I
two
must.
left
I
in my
bet you if you
collection.
go through my collection, there is a couple, but I can't tell you offhand if we do have one.
Yeah.
The one that I really played a whole lot that year was it's a local band. They're from North Carolina, but they did a lot of festivals. I don't know if they ever played any shows with it for Ed or not. Widow, are you familiar with them, Ed?
Oh, Widow
I'm
Rule.
vaguely familiar with them, but they
Yeah.
never did a show with me.
Widow Rule.
This was their second album, On Fire, and
Yeah.
they had a female singer they brought in for this one album. So they had three singers. You had the female vocalist, you had one guy that did clean vocals, and then you had a guy who did like a demonic, not really a death metal, but kind of the demonic type vocal. And all their songs are like, based on like horror movies. They have a song here called American Werewolf in Raleigh because they're from Raleigh, North Carolina. And
That's
it talks about it name checks bars in Raleigh and stuff where the werewolf was kind of out on his rampage. But yeah, really good record. They're very much influenced by the classic King Diamond stuff. So it sounds musically it sounds a lot like Abigail and Conspiracy and them, those types of records. A lot of the neoclassical guitar playing and stuff in them. And yeah, they were on this record was on Cruz del Sur Records, which I think is out of Italy, I think. And
Hmm.
then it came out in Japan on this is the Japanese copy with the extra track, and it was they were on Sentinel Beast. And these guys are still going. They're still going. They just played. I think they played that Stormbringer Metal Fest or whatever it was called a couple weeks ago. I think was the name of it.
yeah.
But yeah, they still go out and play. They're a three piece now, but they still go out and do shows. But they were like when the new wave of traditional metal came out, they were like first wave of that. Them and Twisted Tower Dire and several other bands like Icarus Witch and all. They were all in that first wave of all that when metal was traditional style metal was coming back and getting popular. Because I remember when these guys were playing around here, nobody was doing anything like that. People were like, "Man, they sound like Maiden or something," because everybody was either new metal or death metal, at the time. So yeah, I'm gonna stop there, and I got some honorable mentions when we go back around.
Maybe I'll cheat tonight and I'll go now. I don't know what to give you. I might just blow through everything. They're not. Some of these aren't really in any particular order. Maybe like one, two are. The rest of them I could just mix in together. I think I will go next. Maybe you can, and then I'll let you guys talk. I do not have the hard copy of this. My number 10 album would be the band Firewind from Greece. It's an album
Love
called
Fireworks.
Forged by Fire. Some of the songs from it, Beware the Beast, Tyranny, Kill to Live, really got into Firewind back in maybe the late 2000s. I used to see them a lot. They would come to the Gramercy or come to New York City, and I would catch them every year. Of course, Gus G on vocals. They were just a tight
On guitar.
power
Yeah,
metal,
yeah.
traditional metal band, and they're still around. Different vocalists. I didn't make enough notes to. I'm trying to remember the vocalist from this album, but
Now
strong.
the guy that was on that album, I can't remember his name, but the next album that came out was Allegiance, came out in
Oh, yeah, it's a
2006.
great one.
And this one has Apollo who sang
Apollo, he
it.
was just
He was
amazing. Yeah.
he was in Michael Lamont's band Spiritual Beggars for a while.
Yeah.
Great singer.
Yeah.
And I love when he was in the band. The three albums that he did with the band are my favorites for sure.
Mhm.
And Gus G, man, he's such a good guitar player.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping for big things for Gus because when he joined Ozzy, I'm like, this
Yeah.
dude is good. People are going to know who this guy is. And they didn't. He didn't get to co-write any songs on that Scream album. I was
Nope.
highly disappointed in that because you would thought he would have been mentioned in the same sentences with Zach Wild and Jakey Lee
Yeah.
and all. But
I
it
met
didn't happen.
Steve in
Nice
Middletown,
guy.
New York, and James was there also. There
Yes,
was
I
a
was.
Gus G came to Alto Music, and while he was a member of Ozzy's band, and I thought the place was going to be mobbed. There was me, James, Steve Levin, and maybe what 6, 7 other people.
Yeah, that's about it. It
Yeah.
was me and
Wow.
Mario, and Mario's wife went to that.
Yeah.
You, 11, and maybe three other
It
fucking
was
people.
it was a summer day. I remember it being in the
Yeah.
summer.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
we got to meet him, and it was very low key. Got some good photos and everything else.
Oh yeah. That
Number
was great.
nine, I guess I'll go with number nine. I'm going to go with Austria's Belphegor with Goat Right Fleshkelt, Swarm of Rats, Formication et Immundus. Uh, Not much more. I don't have too many notes because I only thought I was going to be talking about four. I thought we had a full house tonight. But some of these are honorable
Yeah.
mentions, so I don't have a ton of notes. Four of them. Number eight, I do not have on vinyl, and I don't know if it's ever pressed on vinyl. If it was, I'd like to buy it. Is Nevermore, This Godless Endeavor. I love this album. It's hard to pick songs from start and Worrell, So Mist in the metal world. I always loved Worrell Dane.
That'll probably get reissued. I think Century Media is starting to put a lot of their back catalog out on
I mean,
vinyl.
Born, just to start off, such a great song. The final product is it's almost like it feels like what the world's going through now. And the world thought it was bad then. The final product, the world in slow decay, and he just had such great lyrics. Nevermore. I listened to Nevermore a ton back in those days. Number seven, and I would hate to put this far down, but I don't really didn't. I kind of just had these honorable mentions. I'm just throwing numbers on them. It's Immolation. This was on Ralph's list too. Uh, the Harnessing Ruin album, Storm of Terror, Our Savior Sleeps, Our Own Enemy, the title track, Harnessing Ruin. I can remember listening to this album and lifting weights all the time back in those days. Like, I go to the gym and lift weights and listen to fucking Immolation. I always thought death metal was great to go to the gym to. Still do. So, I might, when I'm doing cardio, I might listen to some power metal, but when it's time to go and hit the weights, it's time for death metal. I always thought that way. But anyhow, what was that? What was that? Number seven, number six. I've got hard copy, and some of you are going to grimace. I know Tony Dio is going to hate it. Ed's not watching, so he's not here. His System of a Down with Mesmerize.
Oh, don't worry, I'm here.
Yeah, you're not going to like this one anyhow. But this album is held the taste of time, and I tell you, I didn't like it a lot when it first came. Love Toxicity. This album has grown on me. Of course, BYOB. Put that on at any party, people are going to go crazy. Violent Pornography, Old School Hollywood, Revenge, Cigarro. Good party record. So I'm going with System of a Down for number six. Where's my sheet? Now I'm going into another one that most people who are on the channel ain't gonna like, but I'm wearing a t-shirt of them today. It's Mudvayne. Lost and Found. Fucking love this record. James is gonna agree with me on this one.
Fuck
I
yeah.
don't know. It's just an album. I liked Mudvayne back in the day. I remember seeing them a few times on tour. This is when they took the makeup off and
Yes.
they went with just a regular look. But they were on that Ozfest, determined, pushing through. It's just about having like struggles in life and getting through it, happy, falling to sleep. Forget to Remember was the theme from the Saw movie from that
Yeah,
year.
that's right.
So Going with
Ja-
Mudvayne. Call me a
James,
poser if you want. I'm like James now.
James, their bass player lives in North Carolina. I
Yeah,
guess he
that
still
bass player
does.
is a
Oh
monster.
no shit.
Yeah, I've seen him at a couple of shows, but he lives
Yeah.
like I think he lives near like Greensboro or something. But yeah, I've seen him at a couple of shows,
It's
and
Ryan
he has another band that he plays
Ozzy.
with that's like this crazy, just intricate, like almost like Zappa type stuff, man.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
really fucking odd. Yeah,
you
I've
know what I'm talking
listened to
about?
Oh,
his other thing, but it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
very
that guitar player came in my store one day. We were talking. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm in this band with the guy from Mudvayne." It's like, "Okay, cool."
really. So
Yeah,
Awesome.
I that's what I really like about them. And I hadn't seen them in years. Of course, they weren't together because they were,
hell yeah,
Chad was in Hell Yeah.
That's
And
right.
Hell Yeah. And then when Vinnie Paul died, you got Pantera back and you got Mudvayne back because neither would be around if Vinnie Paul was still alive. I don't think.
yeah.
Probably not.
So you
Mhm.
probably
Pantera
still
for
have
sure.
Hell Yeah and you still have them. But when I saw Mudvayne a couple of years ago, just for ha-has, we went to see him in Wilkes-Barre, and it was part of that big, and it reminded me of going to an Ozfest. It was like Mudvayne, Cold Chamber, Guar, and these other bands, and we got so fucking drunk, but I was right up front. And that bass player, he's a monster on stage.
He is, man. I'll give
Yes,
him
Ryan,
he
that,
is.
he,
man.
he does,
Killer.
and well, they consider it not new metal; they consider themselves math metal. Math
Yeah,
Fair
metal.
enough.
Okay.
So
Fair
now we're
enough.
gonna. Thought
a
I,
lot
I
of notes.
I saw
A
them.
lot of notes.
I saw them like 3 times in the last couple of years, and I really do enjoy it. And I like the words. I think Chad's a underrated vocalist, and
Agreed.
his wife is Shannon Guns. Of course, if anybody listens to XM, she does a lot
That's
with
right.
the metal stations there. So number 4, I'm going to Sweden, and I can't find my copy of this. It's driving me a little nutty. I just started looking for it a couple hours ago. It's Sabaton with Primo Victoria. Uh, Title track, such a great song. The Reign of Terror, the Panzer Battalion, the Metal Machine, which is a song that which they take all different lyrics from classic metal songs, and they blend. Even if some people don't like Sabaton, I think it's going to be hard for you to not like that song if you listen to Sabaton's Metal Machine. As I'll sing about barking at the moon, I'll sing about balls of wall. I sing about all these different things they put together. I remember working a trade show, and my friend Faith from Philadelphia came to the show, and we both had that song in our head, and we weren't hanging out, and we were just singing it back and forth to each other that weekend. So that my story for Sabaton. My number 3 album from that year is going with another band I did not listen to back then, but I got into the last few years, is Gojira with From Mars to Sirius,
Great album.
Ocean Planet, Backbone, The Heaviest Matter of the Universe, The Flying Whales. It's just a killer record. Had to start. I saw a ton of Gojira in the store too. I mean, it probably doesn't hurt anyone you get to play the Olympics and you
That's
become
right.
more mainstream. And there's nothing in the United States that's got the balls to put someone like put Gojira in the freaking Super Bowl or something mainstream in the States. We don't get any metal mainstream in the States. It's always hip hop or freaking pop music. So,
That's right.
and my number
Yep.
2 album, which could be number 1, is one of my favorite bands. It's Sweden. It's Dark Tranquility. Character. I think this is my favorite album by Dark Tranquility. I love Dark Tranquility. It's probably I always one of my favorite band. I have my favorite band list of probably 15 or 20, but the new build that starts out with Out of Nothing, which is just a killer song, Endless Feed, Lost to Apathy, which is still in their set list a lot, and My Negation, Dry Run. This is not the actual cover of this, but when they reissued it, it came out on there. So got to see them last year. Michael's got like 4 different bands. I think he's one of the best vocalists in metal. Of course, Martin Branston. I always see him at shows. I think they're the only 2 guys left in the current lineup right now. They've both been in the band forever. And my number 1, we talked about this a couple weeks ago on the Hudson Valley Squares. We were talking about Roadrunner Records. I have a Roadrunner record as number one. It's Opeth with Ghost Reveries.
Good album.
Fucking killer album. I can listen to this.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of dental work over the years, and I would tell you, when I used to go to the dentist, I would listen to Yes. I'd bring my headphones. I'm like, had a little CBD, and back in the day I didn't, but now I'll just go get really relaxed, put on some Yes, put on some Tool. And most of the time I go to Opeth, Blackwater Park or something like this. And the dentist will sometimes reach down and goes, man, what are you listening to? I'm like, because, you know, the other bands don't have growls. This got some growl in them. So, the Ghost of Perdition just kicks you in the face when it starts off. I think it's such a great song, but you know, they gets mellow. The Baying of the Hounds is probably one of my favorite songs. Reverie, Harlequin Forest, Grand Conjuration, and Opeth to me are one of the best bands. I think they don't get talked about much on this channel. They don't get talked a lot of on Pete Bartow's channel either. I don't know why. But anyhow, I'm done. I did all my top 10. My honorable mentions, Children of Bodom, Are You Dead Yet? And somebody else is going to remind me stuff. And we have one of us, we'll put together Ralph's picks when we get done. So, Ed, you want to go next? And we'll round up with James.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry, I hogged up all the space.
Yeah, so 2005, I was actually getting back into underground metal. I had gotten married in 1995, and so kind of drifted out of the metal scene for a while. Plus, I wasn't really into a lot of the new bands that were coming out in the late 90s. So I just got on and did the married thing for a while. Just listened to regular metal, regular rock and roll for a while. Went to a bunch of big shows, Broadway shows, and shit. Did the married life. By 2000, I was getting much more back into the scene. The scene was picking up again. My bands were starting to come back around. By 2005, me and my wife had already split up. I was knee deep back into the metal scene, into the hanging out scene. Duff's Brooklyn was pretty much my home away from home. I had been hanging out at Bellevue, Jimmy Duff's first bar in Hell's Kitchen for a couple years. When he opened up Duff's in 2004, I was pretty much there 4 or 5, sometimes 6 nights a week. And I had a full-time job during the day too, of course. So I hang out in the bar all night, drive the bartenders home, go home, sleep for a couple hours, go to work all day, come home, sleep for a couple hours, go back to Duff's. That was my life. That was a fun year, 2005 for me. Started meeting a lot of new people, a lot of bands, just having an absolute amazing time. Like I said, it was my real return. 2004, 2005. 2004 is when I moved into my own place, and I just went balls to the wall pretty much. Had a good time. So 2005 was a very fun year. Let's see. I'm gonna do the top 5 albums now, and then I got about 12 so honorable mentions. Right. So yeah, I mean, 2005 wasn't an outstanding year, at least for me, as far as albums, but it was a lot of good albums. It was a couple great albums, a lot of mediocre albums, but just a decent flow of albums. So at least there's some stuff to listen to. Number 5 album is Bolt Thrower. Those Once Loyal. Any year with a Bolt Thrower album is a good year. Love that fucking band. Everything they put out is great. Just so brutally heavy. When a Bolt Thrower song comes on, the bass, the heaviness just goes right through you. Every album, every song, just brilliant fucking band. See a couple of songs on there: Granite Wall, Anti-Tank, When Cannons Fade, and The Kill Chain. The Kill Chain is a fucking brutal song. Okay, here. Number 4, Immolation, Harnessing Ruin.
Nice.
Hell yeah. I mean, I love Immolation. I mean, I was at one of the first Immolation rehearsals. I got to meet them way, way, way back when they first joined the band. Got to be good friends with the guys. Saw them live all the time back in the 80s, and they've never stopped. Every album, they are one of the most consistent death metal bands. Not like they put an album out every year or every other year. They space them out, and they put everything into them. Every song is just brilliantly.
I don't think there's no bad ones. It's hard. I think if we were to have to rate those albums, I don't know how you do it, because
I don't know how either. Yeah,
good. You know?
They're all so fucking good, and they all sound a little bit different. But when you hear Bob's guitar work and Ross's vocals, you know it's Immolation, and it goes right through you. It's so fucking great. A few songs on here: Swarm of Terror, My Own Enemy, Son of Iniquity, and again, like me and Steve were just saying, all the songs are good. You cannot find a bad Immolation song in any album, any time in their career.
Savior sleeps.
Number 3, Municipal Waste, Hazardous Material. Way back in 2005 when I was starting to hang out, go out again, my friend Big Anthony turned me on to Municipal Waste. Absolutely amazing band. I love old hardcore thrash like DRI and Municipal Waste. They still sound like DRI now, but they've grown. Back then, they were basically dealing with it part 2. That's what I used to call them,
Yeah,
and in a good way.
crossover. Yep.
Yep, they were so fucking great. 2 of the best shows I've ever seen, 2 of the wildest concerts I've ever seen, 2 Municipal Waste shows. Back then, had to be probably around 2004, 2005. They played in a warehouse in Brooklyn. Total illegal show. Just a big fucking open room. Had to be 300, 400 people there. Bring your own beer, bring your own drugs. I'm standing there smoking a joint at the edge of the pit. It was just an outrageous time. People were throwing all kinds of shit up in the air. At one point, somebody threw like a boogie board or something all the way up to the ceiling. There's like 20-foot ceilings. Cracked a bulb. The bulb broke. So everything shattered. The show stopped. Everybody cleared the spot. Everybody cleaned it up, stepped away. The show continued. And it was like I said, no security. No, it was just bring your own beer, fucking warehouse shows. Absolutely amazing. And the other amazing show I saw was on the Barge to Hell with them. They were in a small room, like literally a lounge. And they, you got slammed for Municipal Waste. So they started slamming. They were like they were like,
that's it. Just like that.
So basically, the people started moving the chairs. They were like chairs with wheels on them. So they started moving like 4 or 5 chairs in the pit, slamming. It was just amazing. So Municipal Waste are, excuse me, Alpino, I need this papers here. Kids. But yeah, Municipal Waste. Let me see if I get a few songs off here. Yeah, I mean, like I said, frantic musicianship, ruthless intensity, just phenomenal band. I love the guys today. I have really, really good friends. The drummer Dave Whitty used to be in Human Remains, one of the classic New Jersey death metal bands. With fucking super musicianship back then, and great guy.
Yeah, Dave's awesome.
Dave is awesome. And Ryan Wace, oh man, he's fucking great. I had a lot of good times with Ryan in the last 20 years. He's a fucking nut. Let's see here. Unleash the Bastards, Nailed Casket, The Thing, Guilty of Being Tight, Mind Eraser. Just, fucking great band.
Mind Eraser is so fucking good. That's such a great mosh song.
Oh hell yeah, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I was a little late getting in. I didn't get into them until Art of Partying.
Okay,
yeah,
that's when I got into them. Yeah,
that's the first one that I ever got by.
Yeah, no, like I said, my friend turned me on to them. I think before this album even came out. Yeah, it wasn't before this album came out. And I was just like, man, this fucking album, this band is amazing. We used to listen to them all the time. Went to that warehouse show, and I've been a big fan ever since. Number 2 album. Will you please leave me alone?
He's got the animal circus going on.
He's got the clingy,
it's not
clingy cats.
All right. Number 2, Creator, Enemy of God.
Yes.
Okay, Creator. I love Creator.
I forget. I go.
It's too bad Denny's not.
I'm looking at a list right now. And I'm like, somebody's got to say that Creator album. I should.
Oh hell yeah, that's my number 2 album of the year. Where's Denny? Soccer chant time. Man, I love Creator.
Too bad.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing will beat old Creator. Pleasure to Kill, Terrible Certainty, Endless Pain, just bow to them. Phenomenal. They'll never touch that. But I love the later Creator sound. The soccer chants, the fucking, the trendy, the riffs and all. I fucking love it. They're one of the best bands.
I love it too. I saw that tour at BB King's.
Yep, so did I. Yep.
I saw it as well. Yeah.
Let's see here.
I think I saw it at Jack's in Virginia.
Oh, nice. Impossible Brutality, Dystopia, Voice of the Dead, When Death Takes Its Dominion, the title track. They're all good songs. It's a great fucking album. Number 1 album of the year for me, I actually have a tie between Kelly Osbourne and Bon Jovi.
No, you don't.
Sorry, guys. All right, number 1 album of the year for me, I think if anyone knows me well, would be Deceased. Tony mentioned them already. As the Weird Travel on, I could go on for days about my relationship with Deceased. Been friends with them for 40 years. one of my favorite bands for 40 years, my favorite underground band, one of my all-time favorite metal bands, one of my best friends. I love the band. Back in the 80s, oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I've seen this band live. We used to travel everywhere to see them. So, and even when I was married, basically, I wasn't going to too many shows. Anytime Deceased would come up to New York, New Jersey, I drag my wife and we go. I fucking love this band. Every album they've done is just the pinnacle of perfection in one way or another. Heavy metal, thrash metal, death metal, brutality, grinding, fucking speed. Just they do it all. And they do it the best. This album is another masterpiece, absolute masterpiece.
Killer guitar work on it too, man.
I was
God,
just about
yeah.
to say, exceptional guitar work. I remember when they wrote this album, and Chris, my friend Chris, is playing with them in the live band, and Mike Olsen was like, "Wait till you have to play these songs live," and it's just so intricate, so brutal. And they just get better and better with every album they do. I mean, yeah, I mean, back in between 1988 and 1992, I would literally go to like 4 or 5 shows a week anywhere around the Northeast for like Deceased, Ripping Corpse, Revenant, Primeval, Immolation, Suffocation, Incantation. We were all really good friends, really tight. So, and these bands would play. All places would be Connecticut show on a Sunday night, with a Jersey on a Tuesday night, fucking Pittsburgh on Friday night, just driving all over the fucking place to see these bands. And it was an absolutely amazing time. Deceased were one of the top bands back then that I used to see all the time, and to this day, I mean, like I said, I can go on for days about how much I love that band. But let's get to the album here. Okay, yeah, like we just said, Tony just mentioned, absolutely exceptional guitar work on here. Uh, the songs they start off in more of a traditional metal fucking style. The first couple songs, "The Keep" and "Funeral Parlors," Secret, and then it starts to get heavier, starts to get faster, starts to get more intense, and still just waving the classic metal influence, the brutality, and it just flows. It's just so fucking great. Uh, yeah, the first two songs more reminiscent of the Supernatural Addiction album, and then it gets even heavier. It's just an absolute assault on the senses. Unwanted Memories. Unwanted Memories has a very, very Voivod type beginning. It's fucking that's King's all time favorite band, so that goes without saying. A Witness to Suspiria, one of my all time favorite Deceased songs, and I could go on and on and on. Let's get to James. Let's get to honorable mentions. I got a bunch of those, but yeah,
Okay.
number one album of the year, definitely.
All right, James.
All right. So I'm going to do what Steven did and blow through mine all at once.
All right.
My number my number 9 is going to be, because I was only prepared for 4 really,
Sure.
so I didn't have a chance to grab this one out of the collection. So my number 9 is going to be "Start a War" from Static X.
Nice.
I fucking love that album. Really killer riffs in it. "The Enemy" is a fantastic song. "I'm the One" was the big single off that. I love that tune. The title track is fantastic. "Dirt House," "Skinny Man," "Set It Off." Really cool, fucking awesome, grooving, heavy riffs on that album. Band's very tight. Um, I dig that one. So number 8 is going to be "Dark Ages" from Soulfly. I really feel like this is where Max kind of started to look back at the thrash history with Sepultura and started kind of bringing that forward into Soulfly. You don't hear as much of the bouncy, heavy, groovy new metal in this. There's a lot more thrash in this record. I'm sure a lot of that is due to Mark Rizzo's influence as well. Really great guitar shit on this.
Never
The
heard that one. You check it out. I didn't know it was like a thrash back because
yeah, this
Mark Rizzo's amazing guitars. Yeah.
he really is. And he was an underrated piece of this band too, because he doesn't really shred in Soulfly a lot. Here and there, Max lets him loose, but this one is, I mean, the main big single off of this was the track Frontlines. There was a video for it. It was on MTV Headbangers Ball and stuff, and it's a goddamn heavy song. Um, Arise Again is great. Molotov, Corrosion Creeps. There's so much good stuff on this. It's definitely, it's not a complete harken back, but it harkens back a lot more than, say, Prophecy or the Three album does. It's a lot different. There's less of the new metal thing going on and more of the hey, I can still do thrash thing with this one. And all the albums going forward from this too, from Soulfly, have more of that going on as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Conquer and Omens and stuff. All the albums after that are, more in this vein. So this is a killer Soulfly record. My number 987 is going to be Shovel-Headed Kill Machine by Exodus.
Yeah.
I fucking love this Exodus album. Honestly, it's my favorite Exodus album of all time. Yeah. And I love Rob Duke's vocals. I love the riffs in this. It's just, and also you got Paul Bostaff on drums. I think there was a problem with Tom Hunting with like an arthritic issue at this point, or maybe it might have been drug related. I don't know the entire story behind it. But this album has Paul Bostaff on it, and I am happy with that because I love Paul Bostaff as a drummer.
He did the
Kill-
tour. He did the tour though, didn't he? Didn't
He did
no,
most of it.
Bostaff did the tour for this. I
'cause
didn't see them.
I saw him, and I wanted to say, but Tom Hunting was with him when I
Tom,
saw him.
Tom Hunting
Maybe
started the tour, but
okay,
Tom Hunting started the tour, but he got worse. He had to, like
okay.
James said, it was supposed to be arthritis, but could have been drugs. I don't
Yeah,
really know for
Yeah.
sure.
He was
But
with
yeah,
him when I saw him, and I saw him on that tour because I used to have that autograph by the whole band.
right.
Yeah, because they were from that show.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the issue was, but I'm happy that Paul Bostaff plays drums on it. I love Raise. Death Amphetamine is a fantastic song. I've heard that that's supposed to be about Rick Hunolt. I know the guys in Exodus had really bad problems with crystal meth. So I think that's a lot of what, is going on in this song. Shudder to Think is a fantastic tune. I Am Abomination rules, and Altered Boy is one of my top favorite Exodus tracks of all time. I really, really love this album, and I'm looking forward to the next thing that's coming out with Rob Dukes on vocals. So there's my number. I don't know what the fuck was it, 8, 7? I think it's 7. Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Number 6. Angel of Retribution, Judas Priest, killer album. I saw them. The one and only time I saw them was on this tour,
Wow.
and they were phenomenal. I
Yep.
saw them at Jones Beach with Queensryche opening up, and great night. Everything on this CD is great. I love the opener. Judas Rising is just a classic, big, epic Judas Priest song. Deal with the Devil's a great rockin' one. Revolution is a cool song. That was the big single off this. There was a video on Headbangers Ball. Worth Fighting For is another good epic one. Demonizer rocks. I really love the last track on this, Loch Ness. It's very Black Sabbathy. It's
That's the
very
one I always skip.
really, you skipped that one?
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
man, I fucking love that track, man.
it would
It's
fit
so
perfect on
doomy.
Nostradamus.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said it would fit perfect on Nostradamus.
I completely disagree. I think Nostradamus stinks, and I think Loch Ness is a fucking great song. But
Hey, that's cool.
Did
Yeah.
I see
I-
Ralph? Did I see Ralph from Almost Human saying that Nostradamus is his favorite Judas Priest record?
Yeah, but he posts just stuff to see what people will say.
No,
That's
he
what
Yeah,
it
does.
is.
He
that
does
can't be.
drugs.
I saw that tour as well, James. It was great, man. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
very
I
good
saw that
band.
tour also.
Yeah.
I
Matter of
remember
fact,
them.
our friend Richard was a truck driver on that tour, and he's the
Was
one
he?
that got me and my wife tickets for that.
Nice.
So you've
Yeah.
known Richard many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, there's my number 6, Angel of
Good one.
Retribution. My number 5. I'm glad we decided we were going to pick more because if we were just doing 4, this one was going to get left out, and I was kind of bummed about it this morning. Going back and listening to it, but this Godless Endeavor, Nevermore.
Yes.
Oh, it's just so perfect. It's such a perfect Nevermore album. It really is, from beginning to end. There's nothing even remotely kind of like, I would skip that one. Every track on this is so good. Every member of the band sounds killer. Stephen already talked about all the greatness on this Born final product. The first like 5 songs in a row just are so great. Acid Words, Bittersweet Feast. I love Sentient number 6. It's a great kind of half ballad, but then gets big and almost sort of doomy at the end, and lots of cool vocal shit going on in there. And the Psalm of Lydia is a great song on this too. It's one of the last tracks on here. Fantastic, fantastic record, man.
Man, Worrell, that's such a big loss. And I
It
Yeah.
tell you
really
what,
is.
people don't
Really is.
talk about him like they talk about some of the other stars that
They
we've
don't.
lost. I really think that sometimes you never see like a Worrell Dane like T-shirt or rest in peace
Yeah,
like you see, certain people that we've lost. I
that's
think
true.
that it
Well,
needs
Jeff
more.
Loomis is reactivating the band again.
Yes, he
Yeah, I
is.
saw that.
I'm
So
looking forward to
so
that.
you got a Warless Nevermore and a Warless Sanctuary. They'll be out.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Hmm.
kind of
One of
kind
my
of kind of
favorite things
strange.
I loved about Worrell Dane was if you watch a lot of interviews with him, he was a very tortured guy. He was a big time empath, and
Hmm.
anybody that he talked to and interacted with, he felt their pain so hard that he would write songs about people that he had interactions with. And that's also why he drank so much too. He was just one of those dudes that if you talked to him when you were having a hard time, it would reflect on him and he would feel that. And I think that's what made him such a powerful singer
Hmm.
because he's one of those dudes where you listen to him sing and you feel the pain in his voice. And
Yeah,
I think that's what made him one of the best fucking heavy metal singers of all time.
Yeah.
yeah, he was. It definitely took a toll on his just physicality. I think that's why he probably
Yes.
was not with us. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So my number 4, this was easy. Crowbar, Life's Blood for the Downtrodden. Not a bad moment on this one. Not at all. And the lineup on this is so great. So you got Kirk Winstein on vocals and guitar. You got Rex Brown from, of course, Pantera and Down fame on bass. And on drums, Craig Neunenmacher comes back to the band to do this album. But the touring lineup of this band would be Kirk Winstein and Pat Bruders on bass, who was from Goat is currently the bass player in Down, and Tommy Buckley from Soylent Green. Killer album here. The production's great. Rex not only played bass on this, he produced it as well. Slave No More was the big kind of single off this one. This is the one you saw on Headbangers Ball if you were watching it back then in '05. Coming Down is such a good, heavy, pounding, sludgy song. Fall Back to Zero is a really good, sort of clean, back and forth kind of ballad on this. Dead Sun was the second single off this and is really fantastic. Moon is a cool song off this that so this album was dedicated to Dimebag Darrell, and if you read the lyrics in that song, you can kind of tell that it's sort of about Dime, and it's really, really well written lyrically. One thing I've always loved about Crowbar is the music is so dark and heavy and depressing, but most of the time the lyrics are so goddamn inspirational. They kind of lift you up and really make you feel some kind of way. Kirk Winstein is just a fucking genius at doing that. So there's my number four, Crowbar, Life's Blood for the Downtrodden.
James, did you hear about that new band today? The Sun Don't Shine. So
Oh yeah, I've been
yeah,
following that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's Crowbar and half a typo negative. I can't wait
yeah.
for the ninth to come out, man.
They
That's
they,
that's
they just
around
they just released a
here.
single. Yeah, the single's good. It's a good
Yeah,
song.
there's a new single out today. I think
Yeah,
they've got like three or four singles out, and they're all fantastic.
yeah, that's cool.
I'm definitely looking forward to that full length coming out. My number three, and I am surprised that nobody has picked this yet, is Tony Iommi and Glenn Hughes, Fused.
I forgot that came out
Yeah,
this
me
year, but
too.
yeah, that's a good one. I totally forgot. I slept on that one.
I haven't heard that in probably since that year.
Man, Dopamine, what a great song,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, some good stuff on that record.
Oh,
I
so
remember
good.
when it came out, and I don't think I got heavily into it for one reason. No.
Well,
It
they
kind
they
of
re
came out to not much fanfare. It
Not at all.
sort of
yeah,
slipped under the radar.
Yeah, Glenn Hughes didn't get invited to back to the beginning either, did he?
No, he didn't. Well, I mean, should he really?
Sure,
Did
he
he have
should.
much to do with
The
Ozzy?
dude from Sleep Tokens there, he should be there.
yeah.
Yeah,
That
true, I
that
guess.
heavy
I think
that really heavy metal band Sleep Token.
Ian Gillan should be there.
They make Ghost sound like Slayer, and
Yeah,
that's not knocking Ghost.
no,
I
no.
don't. I'm not,
Ian Gillan should be there. Glenn Hughes should be there. They should all be there.
Yep.
Yeah.
yep. Tony Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be my three. I love this album. It just got
Good
re-released
pick, man.
last year.
Yeah. Good.
And what's really cool is if you get the re-release, there's three bonus tracks on it. So there was a Japanese bonus track, and then there was an iTunes bonus track,
Wow.
and then there was a bonus track that was on some other stupid website that had nothing to do with Tony Iommi. So if you get last year's re-release, you get all three of the bonus tracks on this. And just to re-get it, if you've got the original, the song "Let It Down Easy" is so badass and rocking. It's worth it just to grab this album for that one tune. "I Go Insane" on here is such a great, slow, kind of ballady love song on here. Fantastic. "What You're Living For" is a great one.
Yeah.
The Spell is a fantastic song. Grace, I really love off this as well. And Wasted Again. To me, this is like a Sabbath album. I'd spin this over and over and over and over again. I
It's
have
seven.
since it
It's
came
seven
out.
star part three because you had the depth sessions.
That's right. Yeah, you had the DEP
It's that you
session.
had the 8 star. That's the 9th star.
There you go. There you go. And I like this better than the 7th star, personally. Killer album. So there's my number three. Number two, I actually have the title of this album tattooed on me, and so does my girlfriend.
Oh,
"Corrosion of Conformity in the Eyes of God." This is a fantastic COC record. This is another one where I love every second of music on this. So this is the first time you hear the Pepper Keenan version of COC without Reed Mullen on drums.
Yeah, that hurt me, man. That's why it's not one of my favorite. I like it. It's a good record, but yeah, yeah,
It's a fantastic album, man.
yeah.
I
Some
understand it
good
sucks to
stuff
not
on it.
have Reed there, but Stanton Moore fucking rules on drums. He's got such a great style. I love the little jazz and funk things he throws in, the New Orleans kind of laid back, sort of on the and beat. He's not really a typical, ahead of the beat kind of drummer, but everything on this is so good. Stonebreaker, Paranoid Opioid. My favorite track on this is probably Dirty Hands and Empty Pockets. The bass line from Mike Dean on that just drives that song so well. Rise River Rise. So that's an interesting song because it's about drowning in a flood, and it's not long before Hurricane Katrina happens. So that's an interesting tune there. Infinite War is really great because that's a Mike Dean fronted song and it's very thrashy,
That was
especially
one of
the
my
main
favorites on there.
verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great tune.
Yep.
So Much Left Behind, Backslider. There's not a bad moment on this. If you like the pepper fronted version of COC, get it. Even if you're a Reed Mullen fan, it needs to be listened to. This is a fantastic slab of southern grimy sludge Sabbath worshiping metal. It's just fantastic.
Saw him a couple times on tour for that one. My friend
Did you see
Jason
him with
Patterson
Motorhead?
played. Jason Patterson was playing drums. No, I
Mm.
didn't see him with Motorhead actually.
Because
Just a couple of
they toured that record with Motorhead. They
yeah.
came around my area and I missed it. I would have loved to have gone and
I've got
seen.
a tour poster for that somewhere around here. I think it was Motorhead and Zeke.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So my number one. I wonder if Tony could guess what my number one is.
Is it one I picked already? Oh, it's right.
Quiet
Like
Society.
Mafia.
Mm.
Gotta be, gotta
Yeah.
be. My second favorite BLS record of all time. I saw them on this tour twice. I just feel like the songwriting on here is stellar. It's the next best thing after Blessed Hell Ride. The production is so much better. Once they got to Hell Ride, the production is fantastic with this band.
Yeah. I
Again,
agree.
another one
Hellride was
with
the first one I really liked. Of course, I did like a couple of things from the earlier period too.
yeah, it's the production is bad on those first three records, so it kind of
Especially the
makes it
first
hard
ones.
to get through them. Yeah, that
Yeah,
first one is a little rough.
pretty rough.
It's a little rough, but
Yeah.
this one is fucking fantastic. My copy is signed by Mr. Zach there. Fire It Up. I remember getting this the day it came out, and I couldn't when Steven said, like, all right, let's do 2005. I'm like, all right, 2005. And I saw that this was 20 years old already. And I
Mm.
went, holy crap. I remember going to get this the day it came out and driving back with my girlfriend back to the house, and I couldn't get past Fire It Up. I kept repeating it and repeating it, repeating it. She was like, would you let the second song go? No, no, I can't. It's so good. It's so Alice in Chainsy. And I love that Zach mixes that where it's like you can hear parts of what he did with Ozzy, you can hear parts of Black Sabbath. There's Alice in Chains influence, there's Guns N' Roses influence. I love BLS so much, and that's not a big secret on this channel for me. What's in You? Suicide Messiah was the big one off this. In
Yeah,
This
yeah.
River was another big one off this, and the video for that is such a tearjerker. You Must Be Blind is another favorite, and Spread Your Wings. Been a long time is another top favorite for me off this one too. Just great riffs, great solos, great vocals, fantastic lyrics. There's another album from 2005 where you got Craig Neunenmacher on drums and you got James Lomenzo on bass. So this is just a killer album, man. Go get it if you don't have it. And that's my number one.
Thank you.
Cool. Cool. Yeah.
I was just looking at a website. I was just going over 2005. Maybe someone will mention it, but the number one album on 2005 on Metal Kingdom, which I use for reference, is Camelot, the Black Halo.
Wow.
That was voted
Great.
number one.
Okay.
Anyhow,
Yeah. I got a few honorables if you want me to run
Yeah,
through
go
them.
ahead.
Um, Seven Seals from Primal Fear.
Yeah, yep.
Great
Um,
album.
really good record from these
That's
guys.
on that list
I
too.
have I got this deluxe version that came out here. It's called
Oh, nice.
The Book of Seven Seals.
Mm.
It's autographed by Matt, and it had a DVD with all. Basically, what it is it's the Seven Seals album, but it comes with it's basically Matt Center's autobiography, and
Oh, wow.
it has a DVD with all the Center and Primal Fear videos, and Rare Tracks CD came with it. But unfortunately, his autobiography is in German, so I can never read it.
Ah,
But it's
Ah,
got some great photos and stuff. But yeah, what a good album! These guys were always so good, man. I saw them a few times.
yeah.
Demons and Angels, his title track, Seven Seals is great. Yeah, just good stuff. Um, and then I have band from Canada. They were another band that was in the one of the early of the new wave of traditional heavy metal, Goat Horn from Canada. These guys
oh,
eventually
yeah.
became Cauldron, um, which was
Love
signed to
Cauldron.
like Cauldron. It's on Earache Records. Cauldron. Yeah, this was the early days when Jason had the band. They were still a three piece, and they were called Goat Horn, and they were really cool, really good record. Just like I said, good traditional heavy metal. And this one, Dirty Diamonds by Alice Cooper.
Ah,
He did the record before it, The Eyes of Alice Cooper, and this one, Dirty Diamonds, was a big throwback to the 70s Alice Cooper band, like the original band. It was just back to that just good guitar, kind of garage rock type stuff that they did in the
Hmm.
early days. He had Damon Johnson in the band with him then, and Damon was a big fan of that early Alice Cooper. So a lot of co-writes on here with him, kind of bringing back that sound. And Tommy Clufatos is the drummer on this, who played with Sabbath.
nice.
And
Yep.
but yeah, it's a good record. It's got some great songs on it. Yeah, it just kind of throwback to the early days of Alice Cooper, and I
Yep.
just after the industrial, he changed his style every few years and did different stuff. This was a refreshing comeback to return to form for Alice, if you ask me. This one and the one before it, Eyes of Alice Cooper. So yeah, that's my honorable mentions.
Nice.
All right. Uh, Ed.
Yeah, I got a few. I'll run through them. All right. Napalm Death. The code is red. Long live the code.
Okay.
I love Napalm Death. Napalm Death's one of those bands like Motorhead and Sodom. They found their formula 40 years ago and stuck with it, and they never faltered. And this is another great album. I mean, the song "Right You Are" sounds like it's off their second album, "Slave into Obliteration." It's just total grindcore. Let's see here. Diplomatic Immunity, All Hail the Great Dawn, it's killer death grind. Until the last two songs, which are very, very Godflesh influenced. They just totally turned off the grind and went industrial for the last two songs. Very weird. Not bad, but just strange.
Mm.
Otherwise, great album. Candlemass. After numerous vocalists and band members, this album is a return to form.
Yes.
Heavy,
Another one for I forgot, man.
yeah,
Great record. Yeah,
Yeah.
great
fantastic.
record.
The
Yeah,
riffing is heavy as fuck, just
yeah,
brilliant. Witches, Spellbreaker, Black Dwarf, just fantastic record.
yeah,
Fantastic. Definitely.
Yeah.
yeah.
Bitch. Then we got Obituary, Frozen in Time.
Yep.
Another good one. Yeah,
Another great one. A great band that returned to form back then. Opening with the Redneck Stomp, you know
Right.
you're in for a classic Obituary. It's just good
yeah.
stuff.
Great one.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Burns production, just it sounds like old Obituary. It's great stuff.
Mhm.
Deep Purple, Rapture of the Deep. Great
Mm.
record. Their 18th album, still strong songwriting. Steve Morse guitar work and Don Aries keyboard work, fantastic. Just really stellar on this record. Just excelled. Let's see the title track, "Girls Like That." I love that. I love the ballad. Clearly quite absurd. Just a really really nice song. Let's see here. Gravedigger, "The Last Supper." Never been a
Wow.
huge Gravedigger song, but they've always been another one of those bands, straight down and always been consistent, always been good. This song has got a few very overtly Christian songs, which is kind of strange, but it's a good album. Definitely a good album. Solid work, just solid power metal album. Overkill, Relics, or Reli 9, 19. I love Overkill. This is probably one of the worst albums. I listened to the whole thing. I'm like, I'm going to review it anyway. But yeah, it's the only decent song on here. Really, is Old School, which is not a great song, but it's really cool lyric.
Love that song.
Yeah, right. But the rest of the album's a dud.
Yeah. That song is so cool.
You know, Destruction, Inventor of Evil, another band, phenomenal in the '80s. Definitely had a up and down, mostly down since then. Just kind of average albums, nothing great. This album, again, an average album. The standout, most notable thing on here, the song "The Alliance of Hellhounds." 9 really, really notable guest singers, which is it's kind of weird. They're all singing together and the vocals change, and it's you know, first time I listened to the song, I was like, no, I don't really like it. And then I listened to it more, and I'm like, then I really got into it. Biff Byford, Doro, Messiah, Mark from Death Angel, Paul Di'Anno, and others. It's just a really cool song. Mixing with Schmear's vocals, and I was like, first time it kind of weird, but it grew on me. Gorefest, La Muerta, high energy, brutal death metal. This 6th album, and just they're another consistent death metal band. When the Dead Walk the Earth, great song. Malicious Intent, Rogue State. Next one, I'm surprised Steve didn't mention this one. Halloween, Keeper of the Seven Keys, The Legacy.
I didn't like that album that much.
It's not a great album. It's it's the Halloween, the upbeat, the happy metal. It's good, not great. The King of 1,000 Years, that's a good song. The Invisible Man, Silent Rain, cool songs. Not great, not like the original.
I don't think that album's even in print right now. I don't think that's
really.
No.
I was surprised. I mean, I hadn't really heard of this album before checking it.
I liked Better Than Raw. I liked a lot. Because I think I said about Halloween after they put out Keys Part 2, I completely stopped listening to them until
I did not listen
about
to it.
like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
But not a bad record. James mentioned this one, Exodus, Shovel-Headed Kill Machine. Not their best album, not their worst album. I like the album before this better, when it really returned to form, but definitely a good record. I do not like, what is it? Oh, they didn't write. No, I didn't write the 2 songs I don't like on here, but the one you mentioned, James, I don't like that one. And there was one other one I don't like, but Death Amphetamine, I Am Abomination, the title track, all good shit. I like Rob's vocals. It's a good cross between Paul Bailoff and Zetro with a new metal sound and style.
Yeah. Hey.
It's not delivering the goods. I'm excited, but it's a great opening track that really, you're in store for a good freestyle. And the album, instead of just dying after the first great song like some of their albums, this album is actually really, really good. Deal with the Devil, killer guitar work on that song.
Yeah.
Worth Fighting For, The Haunting Eulogy. I love that song. On Hellrider, just a kick-ass song. Oh yeah, this is the album. Revolution and Loch Ness. That's the album I put the 2 songs I don't like. So otherwise, a great album.
Roy Z did a good job bringing them back.
Absolutely, big time. Udo, Mission Number 10. I love Accept. I love Udo. Most of his solo albums are good, and this album is good. It's his 10th album. Shell Shock Fever, all good songs. Couple mediocre songs like Mean Streets and Prime on Prime Time. Stupid title too, but otherwise a good album. Couple special honorable mentions. Styx, Big Bang Theory. I didn't even know this album existed until 5 days ago when I looked up all the albums. I was like, Styx album, I got to check it out. It's all cover songs and really, really well.
I remember that.
I Am the Walrus, Can't Find My Way Home, Summer in the City, Locomotive Breath, just really great stuff. I was like, holy crap. And Queen and Paul Rogers, The Return of the Champions Live. I went to this show in 2005. The first time they played, a couple years later they did a whole tour. In 2005, they only booked like 3 or 4 cities, and I love Queen. I mean, how can you not love Queen? Never got to see Queen with Freddie. I was gonna go the last time they were gonna tour with Freddie. Freddie got sick. The tour never happened. He died. So
Yeah.
close that chapter. I love Paul Rogers. He's one of my all-time favorite classic rock singers. So when those two got together, I was like, I gotta go. So 2005, like I mentioned, I was kind of getting back on my feet, getting back out, hanging out with people in bars and all, but not like a lot of close friends. So all the people I contacted to go to the show, they couldn't go, didn't want to go, whatever. So I went by myself. Spent $250 on a ticket. Had one of the best fucking times of my life, and the show was incredible. Mixture of Bad Company songs, free songs, and all the classic Queen, and just brilliant. So I actually didn't listen to this album. I watched the video for this one to remind myself of how great it was. So yeah, 2005 had some good stuff. Not a lot of killer albums, but a lot of good stuff. So it was a good year.
Yeah.
Enjoyable. I enjoyed listening to all this stuff again.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bad Company, cheers to Mick Ralphs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Couple honorable mentions because I'm looking over a list while you guys are chatting. Hypocrisy released Virus that year.
Great album.
Yeah. Soilwork. I listened to this album a ton back
Having
then.
a drama.
Stabbing the Drama. Yeah, yeah. And we mentioned Children of Bodom already. Are You Dead?
Yeah.
What else? Hate Eternal. I Monarch was released. I haven't heard that album in years. Epica, Consigned to Oblivion was that year. I don't know if anyone's mentioned Sentence, the Funeral album.
I never heard that one.
Strapping Young Lad, Alien. Just looking over a list. You guys do Scented issue 6. I remember that. The Roadrunner United All-Star Sessions. I was at that concert.
Oh yeah.
I watched that live DVD once.
Yeah, I was there. There's the Iomi Fuse we brought up. Devourment, Butcher of the Week. Testament live in London. What else we got? I'm going over.
Got that.
Swallow the Sun, Ghost of Loss. Dio put Evil Divine live in New York City, the live album out that year. Toxic Holocaust, Hell on Earth. I guess we covered most of it. Scar Symmetry, Symmetric in Design. I remember seeing Scar Symmetry back in the 2000s. And I guess that's about. We got most of it covered. Did Rush put an album out in 2005?
I didn't see that. No, I don't think so. I didn't see
High
that.
on Fire put out Blessed Black Wings.
What's that?
High on Fire, Blessed Black Wings.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a great one.
Black Dollar Murder, Miasma was that year?
Yep. Devil Driver, Fury of Our Maker's Hand. That's a killer album.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that one too. Yep. Yep.
Bruce Dickinson, Tyranny of Souls.
I'm just looking to see.
Yeah, that's right. Tyranny of Souls came out in 2005.
That's a good album.
It's good. I don't like it as good as the two that came before it, though.
Yeah, the other ones were better. That's why I didn't even mention that album. I was like, not really worth it.
Well, anyhow, I guess that kind of wraps it up. Take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Just hit that subscribe button. Doesn't hurt you too much to do it. Just reach over, hit subscribe, hit like. Helps channel out if you like what we're doing. And we still went an hour and a half with just 4 of us tonight. So maybe it was good we only had 4. And it got to me, I'm over here trying to get through this one. I keep like kind of getting. I've been going, but since without any.
Did you ever read Ralph's picks?
Oh, Ralph's picks.
Oh yeah.
Ralph's picks were. Let me read them off. Couple that some other people mentioned. Yeah, we got it. Thanks for reminding me that. Ralph was too hot today, and I can see he needs a break. He's been on everyone forever. The Judas Priest album, The Annihilation of the Wicked, which I don't think it's been mentioned. The Immolation and the Cryptopsy was None So Vile. Those were his 5 records or 4 records. I'm sure he would have picked a couple more if he came out, but Yeah, thanks for watching tonight, everyone, and watching the channel. Next week, I think I'm gonna go with if it's possible, it is right before 4th of July. I'm gonna reach out to some of the bands that I'm promoting at the fairgrounds in Middletown. I've actually announced that we're doing the Rock Fantasy 40th anniversary concert series under the stars on the amphitheater at the fairgrounds, which is mainly tribute bands. The only original band that's performing is Trickster, but we
Yeah.
ACDC tribute, Livewire, and I'll be posting all that up. And I got 100 posters. I got to go paper the towns around here like the circus used to. So yeah, so I was going to talk to Psycho Circus about doing the Kiss Alive album. I was going to talk to Livewire about doing an ACDC show where we can incorporate maybe High Voltage. And
Mhm.
there is a Motley Crue band there, so there's a couple other bands that could turn into an episode. Kind of fun to have them on as an episode along with some of us, more than just interviewing them if I can pull it off that way. So see what we can do for next week. I haven't even really thought more about it, but I think it would be good for me to start getting some of those bands on as a couple weeks before, because the fair will be starting, I think, in about 3 weeks
Well,
here in Middletown. So
Yep.
cool,
Well,
man. Eyes of the Nile are going to be there. The Iron Maiden guys again. There's a Stone Temple Pilots tribute there. There's a little bit for everybody. You know, there's a Fleetwood Mac tribute. There's a Wild Side Motley Crue tribute. We could talk Motley Crue on the channel one week, I guess. We haven't done it.
sure.
I don't know if we ever did it. Like,
Theater Pain is just turned 40.
That's
yeah, and I'm
right.
sure they're
Okay.
going
Yeah.
to do some of that. I'll have to see who I can get on. So that's something I need to work on. And
Kiss Alive came out in September. But yeah, you want to talk about it before then.
yeah, and
Cool.
Dress to
Yeah.
Kill also came out, but it'll be good just to talk. You know, I've had Luke Love on the channel in the past from he's the guy that plays
Paul. Paul
Paul.
Stanley.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they have a different Gene Simmons with them now, so should be fun. Last year they filmed a little thing. I don't know if it ever came out. They were like Kiss beats the Phantom of the Fair, and they actually had a guy dressed like a villain walking around, and that we got hit with a
So they had
thunderstorm.
They had an Abner Devereaux character.
Yeah, we got hit by a thunderstorm just before it, so it kind of put a crimp in the
Oh
plans of
man.
bringing them around because they were going to film some stuff in front of some of the amusement rides. And the Anastat, I can't pronounce it right. There's a circus that travels that's going to be there, and they wanted to really be part of it. They wanted them to bring them in and take some photos in the circus ring. That's it. It's
Psycho Circus.
yeah,
Yeah.
to make it would be perfect for them to do some photo shoots. So hopefully this year we can get that set up too. So I guess we'll see you next time on the Rock Fantasy Files. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, James. And thank you, Ed, for giving your time to the channel tonight. It's like a Wednesday night tradition. And we'll see you next week on the Rock Fantasy Files. Good night, everybody.
Later, guys.